Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, huh? We've got a lot to talk about. And what better way to do that than with all of our friends? So today, I am joined by everyone's favorite, Dusty Go-Goat.
What's up, everyone? How you doing?
And Veteran X Gaming.
Hi everyone, I'm Veteran X, and I love Pokemon.
Hey, as we all do, Vet. And so we're here today to talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. And I'm super excited for these games. I know you guys are too. This is going to be our new main topic on all of our channels, I'm sure. Although, Veteran X, I don't know if you're going to be as focused on it as we are.
Yeah, I'm going to try my best to. Elden Ring has taken over my life, so I will squeeze time in for Pokemon.
Totally understandable. I know everyone's getting eaten up by that, and Pokemon Legends, obviously, and a few other games, and Kirby's coming out. Got so many things this year. Bayonetta 3, Breath of the Wild 2. And more that my brain can't fathom it all right now. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are coming this year, and I want us to go ahead and dive right into the discussion, no time wasted. We're going to talk about the graphics and what we think about the graphics so far, because that is, of course, everyone's favorite thing to talk about with Pokemon. So, Veteran X, we're going to start with you. Why don't you talk about your impressions of the graphics for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet so far?
I gotta say that these graphics are probably the best I've ever seen from Game Freak, and it makes me very happy to say that. That one shot of that Magnemite when it was showing the background, that skylight, twilight, and you could see like it was reflected off of Magnemite's shiny body. That one screen capture has more flavor, more character, more detail than any mainline Game Freak release I've seen in my life. And that makes me so happy to finally say that. I've been waiting 20 plus years to say something like this, and it's happening. I really like the graphics from what I've seen, and Game Freak, good job. Good freaking job, man.
A good freaking job.
Yeah.
I am right there with you. I think these are some of the best, but it's not my turn to talk yet. So let's go with you, Dusty. Go ahead and top that off.
Yeah, everything I've seen so far is really exciting. I think the future is bright for Pokemon. I think there's a lot of advancements that the series is going to be making over the next 5 to 10 years. I don't know how deep you want to get into this, but like, part of me is a little nostalgic that a little sad that we'll never get sprite-based games ever again, but we're gonna charge forward.
We can go deep. Don't worry. However deep you want. I do wish that they, at least for like a Gen 5 remake, because that focused so hard on pixel art.
Yeah.
I do hope that eventually we do get some sort of very nice looking kind of what's that one game that I think shoots it perfectly? It's
Triangle Strategy.
Yeah,
that
Triangle
game just came out.
Yes, so Triangle Strategy and the game that came before it, I think it was called Octopath Traveler. Yeah, so I do hope for something in that style for the black and white remakes, but I totally get it.
Let's
if
hope.
they want to just keep going with this new graphical style and new gameplay style, like I wouldn't be mad either way as long as it's done well, which looks like they're starting to do.
As long as I think a lot of people in the Pokemon community have been making excuses for the graphics, have been making excuses for a lot of the technical problems that these games have, and it really comes down to the fact that like the games haven't been as fun as they could be. And I think Legends Arceus has really that was the narrative. This game is so much fun, even though it's not perfect visually. It's so much fun. So if these games continue to be a blast going forward, let's do it. Let's go.
I'm with you, and I think the graphics are good enough, personally. I thought the graphics in Sword and Shield were good enough, save for a few things here and there.
Yeah.
It's mostly the animations that bothered me, not so much the graphics or the art style. I thought the graphics and the art style were great.
I actually miss the art style. Like, these new characters, these new, the main characters, they don't really look like what I imagine when I think of a Pokemon main character.
It is very different. I love both. I think they're both great art styles. I think Pokemon Legends was a very good topping to that cel-shaded art style, and it had a mix of this new art style. Like when you were indoors, it would kind of change the graphics a bit and take the cel shading away. So that was really cool. But Scarlet and Violet are doing wonderful things with their engine and with the graphics. So I am not mad at all.
I saw
you brought up. Sorry.
You're good, man. You're good.
Yeah, Johnny, you brought up Sword and Shield with the the art style of it, and another thing in that game is that much of the the environment was blocked off with invisible walls, but it feels like in Scarlet and Violet, like those vistas we see in the distance, those nice freaking pieces of architecture, we can actually approach those and enjoy them up close and, you know, interact with them. So I really think that's a good direction that Game Freak is going in, and I'm here for it. We're in the future, baby. Let's do it.
I think so. I think you're right about that. I think we're going to have a lot more, even more than Legends, obviously. I think we're going to have more interaction. I don't know how the traversal is going to work exactly, but I mean, that can be what we start segueing into right now, and that is the gameplay for Pokemon Legends Arceus. How do you guys think it's going to function? What do you think is going to carry over from Pokemon Legends? Let's start... Animal. Anyways, sorry not to get sidetracked.
My personal
He's been there the
Pokemon.
whole time.
I didn't even
Yeah.
know. But Dusty...
Veteran X, what type is your animal right there?
He's normal and ghost.
Normal and ghost?
Yeah.
He's dead?
He ghosts you.
No. He's a night owl. He's always up at night.
Okay.
I thought it was because he just ghosted us just now. He just left the stream.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Veteran X, why don't you start off by telling us what you think is going to carry over from Pokemon Legends?
Okay, so the open world traversal, I think we're gonna keep, like, you know, how easy it is to transition from going from land to sea, the air. I think that traversal will keep going forward. I'm not sure about the mountain climbing aspect. We haven't seen enough from the trailers, but I do think we'll be able to have flawless transitions when it comes to traversing the different landscapes throughout the new region. I would hope that the catching mechanic kind of returns, that you can just throw Pokeballs like next. I'm going to get this next Pokemon next in this outbreak next, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to go back to traditional battles. You have to weaken the Pokemon first, and then you have to capture them. But, you know, we just seen the 3-minute trailer. We can't draw any final conclusions at this moment. But I do think that they may bring back the old catching mechanic. And
I saw someone... I saw someone mention, like, going off of what you're saying about the catching mechanic, the fact that this game could be an open world game even inside of a city. Can you imagine, like capturing Pokemon in a city the same way you do out in the Obsidian Fieldlands? Like, you see a Grimer and you just throw the Pokeball. You see a Meowth, throw the Pokeball.
Mm-hmm. And that goes back to what I was saying about that flawless interaction with users. Like, it's seamless, and the future of Pokemon, like you said, Dusty, is looking really bright. And if Game Freak can incorporate that smoothly, I think we're going to be in for a treat. Seriously. Yeah. And another mechanic that I think might be returning, we may have EVs and IVs coming back. I don't think it's going to be the same process that was in Arceus. I think they might bring back the old process from the older Pokemon games, but we shall see. And those are the top ones that I'm thinking may be returning or new features for the game.
So what I really hope makes a comeback in Gen 9 and just does not skip a beat is all those main series battle mechanics. I think Legends was really special because it really wasn't a game built around... I mean, there was battling, but it was a game for catching. At the end of the day, it's to me in the same vein as Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and Pokemon Go. It's a catching game, and what I really want them to do is bring back... I don't know, they have to do it in the right way, because I don't know if it's going to be as satisfactory, but like I think for a Gen 9 game, for a main series Pokemon game, they gotta really nail down the traditional battle formula. I mean, we've been doing, like, I don't know, if they just like scrap it, it's gonna upset a lot of players, because that's like, I don't know, that's the formula.
So what I would love to see personally, sorry, go ahead, Pat.
Yes, so I just want to say, Dusty, if they do end up scrapping it and changing the battle formula, as long as it's good, I'm here for it, man. Because you know, I played many turn-based RPGs, and the way different video games handle you know, the battle mechanics are very refreshing. And if Game Freak wants to, you know, dip their toe in that, as long as it's good. It can't be some bull crap, you know, but if it's nice, I'll welcome the change. I'll welcome it.
We've gotten bull crap before. I think, Veteran, I think the thing that we have to keep in mind is that, like Legends battling was fun because of how, like, quick it was. In every other Pokemon game before, you have to actually, like, spend a second with every single, like, not battle mechanic, but, like, field, qualifier, like if there's weather, or if you're burned, or if you're poisoned, or if you took your leftovers, right? Like, those seconds add up, but in Legends they all happen at once. And I think if they do that in Gen 9, like, it's gonna be so beautiful.
So What I would personally love to see when it comes to the gameplay, obviously, I would love the catching mechanic to come back. I'd love that to stay the same. I think it would make sense in an open world, because it wouldn't make sense if you think about it. If we're going to have these Pokemon in the open world, and the battles take place right there on the spot, like that's already been confirmed by screenshots and by statements by the Pokemon Company, I think that it wouldn't make sense for, like, say, like a giant Tyrantrum to come and touch you and then it transition you into a battle when it just touched you as the player, you know what I mean? That'd be really weird.
So cool. Yeah.
So I think it might function similar to Legends, and I really do hope it does. As for the battles themselves, I really do hope that we see something along the lines of Legends with its pacing, because with Legends pacing, like the weather, all that, it doesn't take the time to tell you. It's there, and that happens. It didn't have much of an effect on the battle, so maybe we could get a quick little dialogue box or something like just that pops up as it's seamlessly transitioning that shows you, like, the weather is this and such is amplified, you know, something like that, which is kind of similar to what they did in Legends. Like, you know how you keep running and it shows you their experience bars go up, and it tells you all these things. When you grab an item, it doesn't stop you with the dialogue box, it just keeps going, and like it pops up while you keep running, you know, things like that. Everything is
in the same vein, like the Pokeballs, like when you're like, it doesn't shake 5 times.
No,
instead it's like all the same. I think every degree of capture success or whatever you want to call it, it takes the same amount of time whether you don't catch it or you catch it. I think the ball goes up higher in the air.
Yeah,
and like little improvements like that, I think, really help a lot.
Yeah, and with open world games, the focus is always exploration. So with that being the focus, that sort of quicker function of the Pokeballs and the catching and the battling, I think fits way better. I think it's the future for the series. And I think what they should do is they should implement it with past functionalities like abilities. I personally don't want EVs and IVs to return. I actually really liked Legends system. I think it just makes it way more streamlined for the same payoff. So I'm hoping that stays the same. But then, like, there's going to be breeding again, hopefully, so you can get more Pokemon. And maybe there'll be, like, breeding exclusive Pokemon that you can only get by breeding, you know, to give that value still. And things like that.
I think there needs to be, like, a variety of ways you can interact with the world. I guess Legends had a lot of ways to interact with the world, but like you're saying, like, we don't have breeding. And then, not that I necessarily do this, but I know a lot of people like those, like those like spin-off alternatives, like contests, right? Battling as well. Battling your friends is like that's another huge one.
Do you guys think that size scaling is going to come back? Because that's a big one for me for immersion. So
yeah, absolutely. I hope so.
They have to. If they don't bring that back, that's literal regression. They cannot do that.
But they've regressed before, so that's what I'm scared about.
I know, that's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing, man. But we've experienced with Legends Arceus, like, great size and modeling, even with the alpha Pokemon, and even the teeny tiny freaking Happiny is at your ankles, and they done a really great job at capturing that. And if they regress for Gen 9, I don't know. Like you said, we've seen Game Freak do crazy things before, but I think I can be hopeful. At least this one time, they'll keep size scaling correct.
Yeah,
I know. Looking back, like, even with Gen 8, like, there's no size scaling.
Not at all.
It's infuriating.
It is infuriating for me.
Like, I went back and I looked at some footage and I was like, this is insane. Like,
it feels wrong. It feels so wrong.
Yep.
Okay, so we talked about the graphics and a little bit of the gameplay, but what do you guys think the Pokemon count is going to be like? How many Pokemon do you think there's going to be, and what Pokemon do you think are going to be returning? Let's start with you, Dusty Gogo.
So I'm trying to think which generation it was where they started. I think it was Gen 6. That was the first gen. Most gens up until Gen 5 would release like around 100 Pokemon every single time. Gen 6 felt really weird because that was the first time they dropped like 60 Pokemon. I think they kind of justified that with the Mega Forms, because even though the Megas were forms, like, I feel like they count that as like a new Pokemon. Anyways, the last 3 gens, the number's been around 60, 70, 80, I think that's correct. And then they've even started releasing regional Pokemon. So we're getting dangerously close to the 1,000 mark. And I think a lot of people are saying, we got to hit the 1,000 mark. And it's possible. But for me personally, I don't really care about hitting, like, that number's just arbitrary. It doesn't even matter to me. So if we're talking about how many Pokemon are going to be released, I think 60, 70 is a good number for new Pokemon. But as far as the decks, I hope we have like a 400, 500 Pokedex size. That's what I hope. And
yeah, I'm hoping for around 400 as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna piggyback right off of that too. I'm thinking we're gonna get 75 new Pokemon that are exclusive to this region. Regional variants, not counting those guys.
Yeah.
And I think they may bring in a total of 400 Pokemon. So 400 plus the new 75.75 Pokemon. That's where I'm sitting at for this new game. I think that's what they're trying to do.
In Legends, like 250 seemed like so much. I still haven't even beaten the decks.
Yeah.
So like I think 400 could be that seems to be a sweet spot. And also it's like even though, well, I guess it could go both ways. Even though like the national dex is serving a purpose, like the limited national dex is like they can only do so much. I would think that if there is 1,000 Pokemon to choose from, maybe 2,000 if you count all the forms, like, you know, you would think that the pool that we can choose from is still larger than it was in the past. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is, I am hoping for that sweet spot of 400 again too. I think it worked really well for Sword and Shield, and with the faster pace of like Legends mechanics being introduced, hopefully in Gen 9, I think that 400 will be great for that as well. And since it's not focused on like building a Pokedex and like doing entries for them, it's totally fine to have it back up to 400 rather than 250-ish, right? Not that I'd be mad with 250, but there's a lot of missing Pokemon that I really am hoping that's what gets added in as priority here. To Scarlet and Violet, like Pokemon, like I always say these three because they're just like such good examples, but Phanpy, Minior, and Electros, they all would fit in so well in this region. They're all very colorful, they're all, you know, like cool Pokemon, you know, so like all these Pokemon that haven't been in a Switch title and are stuck in Pokemon Home because a lot of people out there don't know that their Pokemon can't go into the Switch games, so they'll put them in Pokemon Home and then they can't transfer them back. And that's really sad and really bad, especially since it's a paid service. So if they don't pay for it, then they lose.
What's crazy is like I've even done that. Like when Home came out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to wait, but I will be able to move these Pokemon eventually. I emptied out my Gen 6 and 7 games into Home, which was so stupid.
Well, let's hope that can get fixed. I'm really hoping that can get fixed in this title.
Yes, since Gen 9 is going to be fully open world, I mean, maybe Game Freak might decide, hey, maybe we can squeeze in a few extra 100 Pokemon. Maybe they might try to touch 600. I don't know how big this is going to be, but I just don't want to lose sight that it will be an open world game, and you know, Game Freak might be like, hey, we can squeeze in some more Pokemon. But the two Pokemon I want to see in here is Larvesta and Volcarona. Volcarona is my favorite Pokemon, and I need to see it in Gen 9. I will cry tears of joy if Volcarona is in Gen 9, baby. Like, I'm dead serious about it.
There's
such a powerful one.
Yeah,
yes.
There's something that this gen has over Legends 2 that they can do, and that is introduce a substantial DLC for a whole year and make that their big thing for a year like they did with Sword and Shield. I'm sure they made a lot of money off of that.
The Sword and Shield DLC was good. Like, I mean, I think I think we were all really excited for Legends DLC. That's what the Riddler had suggested. It was totally misguided, or maybe it's true in the future. I don't know, but like I think that excited me because I'm like, this is such a great sandbox, and if Gen 9 is just as good of a sandbox, hopefully way better, and it's more dynamic, and you can do even more things with your Pokemon, then give us drip feed me. Give me the DLC for 2 years.
Yeah, and they could profit more off of a DLC for a game with two versions more than they could with one. So I think it works out fine if they do that because they know people will get both. There's people out there who collect both versions. There's people out there who collect the DLC for both versions, you know?
Sure.
So there's that. And I just think it would be a really brilliant move by them to introduce DLC for it. And that could be another way to introduce even more Pokemon down the line. So, I just hope the priority is the Pokemon that are missing. And other than that, I'm happy with whatever new Pokemon they give us and whatever old Pokemon are returning.
I think there's like an opportunity here with the shortened national decks, and that's kind of like giving a unique experience to every single entry, new Pokemon game. Like, I think Gen 8 kind of dropped the ball. It attempted to do this, but we kind of saw this like blueprint of what Gen 9 could be, right? Like in an ideal world, we get Gen 9 and it's like a beautiful open world game. Maybe we get another Legends game that explores another time in history. That's how I see the Legends games. They're like another point in history, right?
Yeah.
To give us context. And then like maybe instead of just a faithful remake, like I'm thinking of a 3D or a 2D, like what do you call it? 3D pixel or HD 2D game? Like maybe that's the Gen 5 remake, right? Like
Hopefully, we'll see.
just and then also with each of those titles, they have a unique pool of Pokemon.
So to your point, I think it is a more magical experience now with the whole like some Pokemon will be and some Pokemon won't, because we're getting these games with a completely new era of Pokemon, I should say, with different gameplay, different style essentially, and different styles per game maybe, because we've seen some vastly different games the past year or two. But the reason I think people were mad with Sword and Shield was it was literally just Sun and Moon but with less Pokemon. So that was why people raged so much about that, and it was also the first Switch title, and since it wasn't breaking new grounds when it came to the gameplay, people weren't happy about them just removing features, because they also removed gameplay features on top of removing Pokemon, so it just didn't make a lot of sense. Don't get me wrong, Gen 8 did a lot of great things though. It did great things for competitive, it did great things for quality of life. I think Legends did quality of life better than Gen 8. Like, it just streamlined EVs and IVs or whatever. It streamlined so much more, the battles, the catching, everything. So I just hope that we see the best version of everything in the next game plus more, and that's all.
I hope so. What do we think about, like, I know like fans had clamored for following Pokemon for so long, and then it was like poorly delivered. I actually didn't care that we didn't have it in Legends. I thought being able to throw out your Pokemon anywhere was even better.
I thought that was better too. Yeah. What about you, Vet? What did you think about that?
I like to have both, because I really did. I love being able to throw the Pokemon at the Pokeball. That was great. But I was like, damn, I wish you could follow me too. So I'll take both.
What would be a great middle ground would be if you had the same thing as Legends, where you can throw them out of the ball, and instead of them following you and that being poorly implemented like all the time, there is you could have a come here command, kind of like how you could interact with them in general. If there's just a button dedicated to saying come here when your Pokemon's out or something, like that would be. And
then it locks on the trainer, and wherever the trainer goes, it follows.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
and once
cool.
they arrive, then they could stop for good, and then until you say come here again.
And to build upon that, you could probably make them, hey, say your cry, or you can maybe make them do one of their animations, like one of their battle animations. It could be an option within there as well. So you can make things.
Yeah, if they dedicated the buttons a little differently, they could do these things. We'll see, because they still, even with Legends, didn't use all the buttons on the controller. So.
That's a really cool idea, Veteran. Like, if you could like have it use its flamethrower animation, where it like I'm thinking of my Typhlosion actually using flamethrower, and then I can move around and with the camera and like take photos, and it just like it's kind of like the photo booth, but I could do it out in the wild. That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
What was that?
They're more dynamic.
Yeah. I would also, if we're asking, I want a Shouldermon.
I didn't even think of that. Like it stays on your shoulder. Or you could hold it like in Pokemon Go, how they'll hold Togepi.
Yeah.
Eevee will be on your shoulder, or Pikachu will be on your shoulder. That'd be cool. That's I forgot about that. It's not a necessity, but that would be a nice touch.
Yeah.
It's an anime classic.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm happy with just being able to take them out. At the very least, I hope we can take them out anywhere. And I just hope they keep that animation for when you're too far from them, and it just like has an animation and a sound effect for them coming back to their ball. That's very important to me. Like, we don't want that popping in and out with the really annoying sound effect that they had in Sword and Shield. So that's it. So let's go ahead and move on to our final topic, and that is how the game will be structured. And what I mean by structure is, like, are we going to see gyms? Is there going to be like a school system? How are we going to have like landmark events? Like, are we going to have boss Pokemon, boss trainers, puzzles in the overworld, environmental block ways that we need to use certain Pokemon for? Which could be, another step from Legends. How you had to like break some walls in Legends with your Pokemon, but like any Pokemon could do that. Maybe certain Pokemon are used for certain things in this game. Like, what do you guys think we could do? I'm just like playing some things.
Yeah. Johnny, you and I were talking earlier this week about like how like the possibility that this is really based on like the outfits of the trainers, how this whole game might be I I guess, formatted, and the story will be told through the lens of like a schoolyard, not a schoolyard.
A school system? I don't know. Like,
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
even
school
like
system.
Yeah.
And we were joking that it kind of seemed like an anime trope, and I'm curious if veterans got any insight on that, because we kind of had that with Sun and Moon, with that like the trainer was learning and there was a school. And what do you think, Vet?
Yeah, so to piggyback off of the learning motif, I was hoping like maybe you're like an apprentice learning to become a professor, and you're traveling around the region to document and survey different Pokemon, and along the way you encounter people who are masters of their craft, not like a gym leader, but someone who's like there's good in Pokemon, I don't know, food in a Pokemon diet.
You could call them alumni. Like
exactly.
Maybe they're like school alumni.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, and you want to get like their recognition, and like, okay, this is part of your checklist, your test in order to get your professorship in Pokemon. So I don't know, that's just me brainstorming like how it could be structured.
That's an interesting mix of like pulling Legends' structure into it. I didn't even think of pulling Legends structure into it. I don't think that we're gonna be pulling Legends structure into it like that personally, but that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Dusty, what are your thoughts on it then? You think it's just gonna be the school system, or? I
mean, I haven't gone wild with my imagination yet. That's fresh on my mind, the school system. I do think it's important that I think gyms should return, and there might actually, like, I don't know if this is evidence for it, but I think it's gonna have something to do with the plaza that we saw with all the different type triangles. I think that's either a hint towards the gimmick or the fact that we are going to have gyms, and maybe there's one of those for each. I just feel like it's a really good way to structure a video game and to structure progress. And I like the idea of. Do you want to jump in here, Vet?
Yeah. So on gyms, if they do bring it back, I hope they're not necessarily just monotype. Like this is a water type gym or a type gym. I hope that it's based off of themes. So like, what do these Pokemon all have in common, and how can they synergize with each other? I think that'll be a very fresh take on gyms if they do bring them back. But please, just no monotypes. Don't make them monotype.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yep.
They did a lot of those in I'm thinking of Raihan. He did that in Gen 8. It was all like weather based.
Yep, it's a sandstorm team. Yep.
Yeah, and then I guess like, so if this game is open world, we're just gonna accept that, right? Yep. Like they're not misleading us. It's open world. I would love, I would love if there were more than 8 gyms. Let's say there's 16 gyms and they're all over the region, and you can either battle them all, or you just pick and choose which ones you want to tackle. And then maybe it's like Breath of the Wild, where it's like you could go straight to the champion, and right, like maybe they're like, well, do you want to, like, you don't have any gym badges, and then you go, yeah, but I have a Caterpie, and then that's like maybe challenge mode. I get, like, they probably won't do that because they're probably gonna say like you need at least 8. Pick which 8 you want of the 16. What do you guys think?
I think that'd be cool. I do wish they would do that.
Yeah, it really is like you can just go here and like, you pick your own adventure. I think that would be very unique memories that we haven't really seen within Pokemon, because except with Legends, it is kind of pick your own adventure, but anything before that, you have to go in the order of the gym leaders and the badges and the towns. There's no other way around it, and there was very little room for like optional routes to go upon. So if Gen 9 can do that and do it well, I think that would be pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to that. And then I guess they could use proper scaling if you were to go to like a different gym. Like the second gym you fight will have certain level Pokemon, no matter who it was. It just that tier system.
Huh.
Yeah, so like let's say Brock is the first gym leader. That's like what we know canonically. Like, but if you battle him as the 8th gym leader, he'll have his team from Gen 2 in Kanto, right? Like it'll be all level 60. He'll have the fossils. He'll have Steelix. Exactly. That would be sick.
Exactly. Yep.
Wow.
You gonna pick something, Johnny?
No. You guys are covering it.
So I get really nostalgic, man. I get really nostalgic when I think back to Gens 1 and 2, obviously. Also the anime. But first, it's like Gens 1 and 2, even though there is, like, you do have to get all 8 gym badges, and there's only 8, you can kind of there's a window in there where you can kind of get them out of order. I think you can get the first 2 gyms, and then you can get like the 6th gym, and then but when you go back, it doesn't scale. Gen 2 is kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Johnny, I was telling you, like, in the anime, Gary rolls up on Ash in season 1 and says, "Look I have 10 badges. What do you have?" And half of those badges aren't even in the Kanto League or the Indigo League, right? So that to just kind of like, I would love if they brought that into into Gen 9, where there's like so many things that you could choose from, but you can only get 8. And then that just like allows you to like replay the game in like infinitely, right? Like you can.
Ooh, Pokemon's like become a roguelike.
Yeah, you can pick and choose whatever you want. So
I'm on board for it. I love all of this. I love it all.
That sounds so much fun. That's not like I'm getting excited and a little disappointed that it's not probably gonna be real, but I'm getting really excited.
You gotta temper the expectations. I would love, don't get me wrong, it would essentially be a major league and a minor league, I think, because that's something they played around with in the past, especially in Sword and Shield. They definitely talked about it, but they never showed it. And we all thought that it was going to be part of the game, but it never was. I don't know if it's because of the deadlines that the game had to reach or not. But in this game, maybe we will see that. Maybe. I do think that the little color wheel with the typings has a hint towards the gimmick, just because it's in like, it's surrounded by a diamond shape, and diamond shapes are all over that town, and there's a diamond on the Japanese logo, which usually on the logos usually hint towards the gimmicks, but not always. So who knows?
We have a lot of questions. It's just like there's so many questions,
but that's the fun part.
It is. It really is. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So I do want to real quick, I think there was a point that I totally forgot to mention earlier about the gameplay. And this will be the last thing that I say, is with Traversal, I do hope that we have a way to traverse mountains, and that we have a way to, traverse the sky and the water and all that. And I do hope that there's several different Pokemon that we can ride to do so, and that would be an expansion on the Legends, features that it had. Then again, they might just make that a Legends feature. I hope not. We have seen it in mainline games in the past to some extent, so maybe they would bring it in. And I'm just really hoping so. Like, we see a lot of cliffs in the game that there's no way that there's like something else to get us up there. There's no way there's stairs or a way to get down from there without falling. So I do think we will be seeing some sort of traversal in that respect. But that was all I wanted to say.
Wait, what ride Pokemon do you want? Like, let's say there's air, climb, water, and land. What ride Pokemon would you want?
What would you want, Val?
For Gen 9?
So for Gen, I want to ride on the Gyarados in the water. That's what I want, is the ride Pokemon for that one. To climb, I don't know. I was thinking Ursaring, but Ursaring was kind of already used. Ursaluna already. So I have to go back and think about the climbing Pokemon. And as far as flying, I don't know. Just pick any dragon type Pokemon. Like,
ooh, dragon, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to fly on the back of a Dragonite, like in anime. I would. Sure. That would be freaking awesome.
Charizard.
Oh, there we go. I was Dusty. I was trying to avoid Charizard. We've seen Charizard everywhere, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always since Gen 2 wanted to ride a Lapras, so I really hope a Lapras is at least one of, if not the only, rideable Pokemon on the water. I know they did that in Gen 7, but I don't know. The region didn't really click with me, and the bodies of water were very small in that game. So like an open world game would be great for that, for traversing on a Lapras. But whatever it is, I hope it's cool, because I really did like Basculegion in Legends, so I didn't mind that at all. I like Hisui and Braviary, so for a flying type, I mean, really, you almost can't go wrong, I feel like, unless it's like that turkey looking one. I don't know, I don't want to fly on that one. Anyways.
Oh?
The one with the bone in its head? I don't know. I don't want to fly.
Volibee.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Mandibuzz.
Yeah, and I don't want to fly on a Fearow either.
Heck, never Fearow. Pidgeot. We gotta fly on a Pidgeot.
I'd be fine with Pidgeot. Yeah. Or
Dragonite. Mega Pidgeot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then feathers flowing in the wind. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and then riding on land, like there's so many. I hope that there's several again. Let's go. But we'll see. And that's really hard to pick and choose from that. But either way,
a regional Go-Goat. That'd be
Yeah.
sick.
Oh yeah, that would be so good for you. Maybe they watch your videos and they're like, you know what, we're gonna put a Go-Goat in this game.
Yeah, I'll think that, but it's probably more that it's like more closely related to Kalos.
Yeah. True. It is close to Kalos, so you know, Go-Goat confirmed. No, hopefully though, isn't Go-Goat not in any of the Gen or the
It's not.
Switch titles?
It's only
I'm so sorry, Dusty.
And that's a thing. Like I hope those 60, I think it's like 61 Pokemon that aren't in any game. I really hope those are all coming back, right?
Yeah.
Like Minun, I guess Gens 1 through 4 are in BDSP technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like some really obscure ones that I'm like, just bring them back.
Just bring them back, please. Yeah. So those are our thoughts on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet so far, what we are expecting from the game, what we want from the game. There's obviously more to talk about. We will be doing more of these, and next time we'll be featured probably by Kayla's Capsule as well. This is like the first time I've done a podcast without her. So, but I do love you two's company, and I am totally happy with this. So we will do this more for sure. And why don't we go ahead and talk about where we can find you guys? Veteran X, let's start with you.
Yeah, guys, you can find me on YouTube at Veteran X Gaming. I cover Pokemon, Elden Ring, all kinds of open world video games, anime. I would love to have you there. It's good to be a nerd, and we're going to celebrate it. That's all I got.
Absolutely. And then you, Dusty Go-Goat.
Check me out in the link, youtube.com/Dusty Go-Goat. Come check us out. That's where I'm mostly active. I'm also on Instagram and I am on TikTok, but Instagram and Twitter I've been pretty active at Dusty Go-Goat as well. Theories, rumors, leaks, speculation, anything Pokemon related, we're gonna dig into it.
A fun fact about Dusty, he's 27 years old.
For like literally 20 more days. 15 more
really?
days.
I'm about
15
to
more
be.
days, and I'm gonna be 28.
That's
Johnny,
so
isn't your birthday coming up soon too?
It is. It's on Pi Day, so
Nice.
it's coming up. Yeah, I wanted to point that out about Dusty because the first time you were featured in a vodcast, I said, Dusty, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for the first time to my audience? And you're like, I'm Dusty Go-Goat. I'm 27. Our final guest is Dusty Go-Goat, and this is his first time making a debut appearance on my channel. So Dusty, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, it's Dusty Go-Goat. I'm 27 years old.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Great introduction.
That was just a pause. Hey everyone, it's Dusty Go. Oh, let me try again. Hey everyone, it's Dusty Go-Goat. Dude, I don't know how to introduce myself.
It's totally fine. Okay, so
Hold on. I should have prepared this. Okay.
yeah, Dusty be mad wildin' with his intros. All right, but it was super fun having you guys on, and I'm so glad that I get to have you here, and I hope everyone here that's watching goes and subscribes to you guys as well, and that we all just make a big happy family here in the Pokemon community.
Thanks for having us, Shawnee.
Yeah, this is where we all belong. Here we are.
Yep.
Here we are. Let's do this again soon.
Absolutely. Yep. All right. So until then, I have been johtojonny, of course. Yeah, I should probably introduce myself at the end too. Signing off. Thank you very much, everybody. Peace out.
Ooh, that was great.